Now, first, as I said, this attack on a Jewish place of worship on a Friday, early in the dark, before dawn, takes the attacks on Jewish Australians to a shocking new level. Spreading accelerant in a synagogue where Jews were about to start morning prayers, causing major damage and only just missing destroying rare ancient scrolls worth millions of dollars. Predictably and rightly, both sides of politics were quick to condemn what's happened in a proudly Jewish neighbourhood of Melbourne today. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese and opposition leader Peter Dutton also reacted to what really amounts to, in my mind, urban terrorism. And I don't think the Prime Minister, all the way on the other side of Australia in WA, did himself any favours with this muddled response, and he's now going to be under extreme pressure to call this out as an act of terrorism. This was his response late today.
Well, anti-Semitism is something that has been around for a long period of time, of course.
Does that strike you as strong leadership? Doesn't for me. No one should play politics, of course, with this. It's too serious. Here was Peter Dutton. He spoke earlier in the day.
It's absolutely abhorrent to see any place of worship attacked. I want to pretend that this wasn't expected or that it couldn't be predicted, but I can't do that to the Australian people. We have seen the rise of anti-Semitism in our community since October 7 of last year.
Other politicians, the Victorian Premier Jacinta Allen and opposition leader John Pisciuto, they both went to the scene of what happened there, and they spoke this afternoon as well.
We all stand here today to condemn in the strongest possible terms, this hateful, violent attack on a beautiful, peaceful place of worship.
We can't have in Australia, let alone Victoria, let alone Melbourne, this kind of violence. And it's totally unacceptable. It's an abomination.
Lots of words there from our politicians, but there is a problem here that has led to this disgraceful act. Let's start with the Victorian government. They have been weak and condescending since October 7. They've allowed pro-Palestinian marches to take over Melbourne CBD ever since the 7th of October last year. They let the universities of Melbourne, all of them, be overrun and occupied by pro-Palestinian protesters. The police response has been weak. The Jewish community has felt abandoned and targeted. So it's taken an overt attack on a house of religion to flush out people like Jacinta Allen. She turned up and handed out $100,000 to rebuild part of the damaged building. But money and words won't wash with this community. I can tell you, they feel let down, as Jews around Australia feel let down, by a federal government that just this week turned its back in the UN on our ally Israel. Now, as we saw from this exchange at the media conference, the Premier walked into, they will not just accept her promise of doing more.
Let's stop with the politics and let's get a short, sharp, straight answer. Have you lost control? Have you lost control, yes or no?
I will take advice from Victoria Police. I will take the advice from the Victoria Police and the Chief Commissioner, who advises me that in terms of acts of violence, they have the tools and the powers to investigate and prosecute people.